Welcome to Meaningfulness, Engineering Purpose in a Complex World podcast series. I'm Djeff B., Principal Architect at Meaningfulness Media Group, where we build rigorous frameworks to uncover objective meaning through authentic connection, ethical systems thinking, and responsible stewardship in an age of AI and informational chaos. If you're seeking evidence-based insights on philosophy, psychology, and human flourishing, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, and welcome. We're going to jump right into one of the biggest and, let's be honest, one of the most unsettling questions of our time. Do we actually have free will? I mean, it sure feels like we do, right? But modern science seems to be pointing in a different direction. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole idea and see if maybe, just maybe, it's all based on one giant misunderstanding. So here it is, the big one. The question that can really keep you up at night. If your brain is just a complicated biological machine and the whole universe just follows a set of fixed physical laws, does that mean every single choice you've ever made was basically set in stone at the Big Bang? Are you just a passenger watching a movie of your own life play out? You know that feeling of powerlessness? The idea that our conscious choices are just us making up a story after our brain has already decided what to do? Well, there's a name for this feeling, and understanding what it is really the first step to seeing why it might be wrong. It's called causal nihilism, and it's basically the dead end you arrive at if you follow a certain line of thinking. It says, hey, if everything is just a long chain of cause and effect, then your struggles, your decisions, your moments of triumph, they're all just echoes. They don't actually cause anything new. It's a really bleak and paralyzing thought, isn't it? Okay, but here's the twist. What if that entire, seemingly logical chain of thought is built on a huge mistake, a fundamental error in how we're framing the question? What if science isn't telling us our choices are meaningless at all, but that we've just been confusing two very, very different ideas? And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the matter. We have to draw a big, bright line in the sand between two words that people use interchangeably all the time, but which mean completely different things: determinism and fatalism. Okay, so check this out. Science is pretty solid on determinism, the idea that the universe follows consistent rules. You can think of it like a grammar. But what we do is we hear rules and we immediately jump to fatalism, the belief that there's a pre-written story that's already finished. And that leap, that's the whole mistake. Just because there's a grammar doesn't mean the story's already been written. So if the universe has rules but the story isn't written, how on earth does that work? Well, it's because even in a universe with fixed rules, the future is fundamentally unpredictable from the inside. There's a kind of horizon, a wall we just can't see past. It turns out there are at least 3 massive physical firewalls that make perfect prediction completely impossible. And this isn't just about not having a powerful enough supercomputer. These are fundamental features baked into reality itself. Things like chaos theory and computational irreducibility. Let's break those first two down. So first up, you've probably heard of chaos theory as the butterfly effect. And this lays it out perfectly. Even if you have a near-perfect measurement of something, there's always a tiny, unavoidable bit of uncertainty. Well, in a complex system, like, say, a human brain, that tiny little error doesn't just stay tiny. It gets magnified exponentially over time, leading to wildly different outcomes. Prediction just completely breaks down, and it breaks down fast. The second firewall is an amazing idea called computational irreducibility, and this one will bend your brain a little. It basically means that for any complex system, there's no shortcut. There's no simpler algorithm that can predict what the system will do faster than just running the system itself. The only way to know what you'll decide in 5 minutes is to wait 5 minutes and watch you decide. The universe literally has to live the future to figure it out. It can't cheat and skip ahead. This quote just nails it. The future isn't some hidden script tucked away somewhere, waiting to be read. It's an uncomputed probability space. It's a vast field of maybes that hasn't been resolved yet. It's wide open. Which, of course, leads to the next huge question. Okay, so if the future is this open, uncomputed space, then something has to do the computing, right? Something has to do the actual work of taking all those possibilities and collapsing them down into the one single reality that actually happens. So what is it? What's the physical process that takes this open future and makes it concrete? What acts as the bridge between what was and what will be? You do. That's the answer. Your brain, your mind, your thoughts, your deliberation. You are not just a spectator watching the universe compute the future. You are the computation happening. There's even a name for this role. You are the salient cause. Yeah, sure, the Big Bang is a distant cause, but you are the salient one, the local information-packed system that is the real difference maker. If you change your mind, your goals, your memories, what you value, the future of the universe literally branches onto a different path because of you. And this is so important to get. That feeling you have when you're weighing your options, when you're really struggling with a tough choice, that's not an illusion. That subjective experience is the physical work of the universe computing the future. Your deliberation is the necessary, real, energy-burning process of resolving what's possible into what's actual. So, if our choices are this real, computational work, that leads to a really cool idea. Maybe agency isn't just an on or off switch. You either have it or you don't. Maybe it's more like a muscle that you can strengthen. We can think of it as agency depth. It's a whole spectrum. At one end, you've got subcritical agency, which is basically just a reflex, totally reactive. In the middle, you have critical or deliberative agency, which is where you can actually pause and think about the future. And way at the far end, there's supercritical or sovereign agency. That's when someone's inner world is so complex, they become functionally unpredictable to anyone else. And here's the real punchline. This isn't fixed. Your agency depth is something you can actually cultivate. You can deepen it through learning and reflection. Or it can be diminished. It can shrink if you're constantly stressed, distracted, or manipulated, which makes you more reactive and, well, more predictable. Your agency is a skill you can build. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's tie everything together with one last really powerful metaphor that I think just perfectly reframes this entire debate. The big mistake the fatalist makes is thinking that because the universe has laws, the story of your life is already written down somewhere. But that's just not how rules work. The laws of physics aren't the story, they're the grammar. And think about that for a second. The rules of English grammar don't dictate what poem gets written. They provide the stable structure that's necessary for a poem to have any meaning at all. Without grammar, you just have noise. And this just says it all. The very laws of cause and effect that some people see as a prison are actually the foundation of your freedom. If your actions didn't reliably cause outcomes, your choices would be completely meaningless. Causality doesn't take away authorship. It's the very thing that makes it possible. So you are not a passenger watching some pre-written script. You are an author, an irreducible causal force of creation, working within a lawful grammatical universe. The laws are the grammar, you are the author, which really only leaves one last question for all of us to think about. What story are you going to write?
That's all for this episode. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If these ideas resonate, continue your journey toward objective meaning and authentic connection at meaningfulness.com.au, where you'll find materials and resources to engineer purpose in your life. Until next time, let's build something meaningful.